Okay, we are on episode 6, which is Indescribable Compassion. Okay, so this one, so much stuff has gone on. So I'm going to read to you um, two pretty important things. So, one, when the leper approached Jesus, and then I'm going to read to you when Jesus here heals the paralytic man that comes through the roof. Okay? So this is how it actually went down. So we'll see what similarities and what differences there are. Okay, so this was episode 5. No, episode 6. JK. Okay. So it's Luke 5:12, and this is the leprosy guy. So it says, "While Jesus was in one of the towns, a man came along who was covered with leprosy. When he saw Jesus, he fell with his face to the ground and begged him, 'Lord, if you are willing, you can make me clean.' Jesus reached out his hand and touched the man. 'I am willing,' he said, 'be clean.' And immediately the leprosy left him. Then Jesus ordered him, 'Don't tell anyone, but go show yourself to the priest and offer the sacrifices that Moses commanded for your cleansing as a testimony to them.' Yet the news about him spread all the more, so that the crowds of people came to hear him and to be healed of their sicknesses. But Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed." All right, so there's, a little info right there. It says that it's the man with leprosy is written in slightly different settings in the other Gospels. In Matthew and Mark as well. Let's see. It says the reason why Jesus said don't tell anyone was to prove that he was actually healed miraculously. It was to testify to the authorities concerning his ministry and to supply ritual certification of cleansing so the man could be reinstated into society. So Jesus had him handle it in a way where he could live as a normal person again. Okay, and then the next one is also found in Luke 5, and it's the story right after, and it's Luke 5:17, where Jesus heals the paralyzed man. So this one, it says, "One day Jesus was teaching, and Pharisees and teachers of the law were sitting there. They had come from every village of Galilee and from Judea and Jerusalem, and the power of the Lord was with Jesus to heal the sick. Some men came carrying a paralyzed man on a mat and tried to take him into the house to lay him before Jesus. When they could not find a way to do this because of the crowd, they went up on the roof and lowered him on his mat through the tiles into the middle of the crowd, right in front of Jesus. When Jesus saw their faith, he said, 'Friend, your sins are forgiven.' The Pharisees and the teachers of the law began thinking to themselves, 'Who is this fellow who speaks blasphemy? Who can forgive sins but God alone?' So in this case, they weren't even actually saying that out loud. They just thought it inside. And of course, Jesus knows our thoughts. So it says, Jesus knew what they were thinking and asked, 'Why are you thinking these things in your hearts? Which is easier to say, your sins are forgiven, or to say, get up and walk? But I want you to know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins.' So he said to the paralyzed man, 'I tell you, get up, take your mat, and go home.' Immediately he stood up in front of them, took what he had been lying on, and went home praising God. Everyone was amazed and gave praise to God. They were filled with awe and said, 'We have seen remarkable things today.'" Okay, and that story of the paralyzed man is also in the Synoptic Gospels, which are Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Okay, so you can find that story in those books. Okay, pretty cool. That one got me. I had to pull myself together before I did this video because that was intense. It was good though, right? I hope you guys are into this as much as I am. If you're not, that makes me sad. I hope that you guys are seeing Jesus in a new light, and I hope that that it just makes you think a little bit more about how he thinks about you and how intentional he is with you personally, because he really truly is. And if you guys can take the time to see how he pursues you, you'll start to notice it. You'll start to feel the way Matthew felt when Jesus stopped, turned around, and looked at him the way that he did, right? Matthew felt noticed, probably looked at for the first time ever, right? And we'll see more about Matthew later on. It's pretty exciting.